Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Dwayne. Dwayne is from Galway in Ireland. So let's see what Dwayne has to say. Enjoy the interview. So hello Dwayne, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? Where are
Very,
you?
very
London,
well.
is it?
Yes, I'm based in London, yes.
But you're Brazilian.
Yeah, I'm from Brazil, but I've been living in London most of my life. So
Very
tell
good.
me, how was your day today?
Busy. Trying to set up my own company, so I'm doing a lot of work.
Wow.
Mm.
So tell me, what was the highlight of your day today?
The highlight of my day. Sad to say, it was getting to the gym, just getting out of the house.
What did you work out in the gym today?
I did some back work and some biceps work, although I hurt my bicep yesterday when I was bench pressing, so I couldn't do too much on my biceps, but we got it done.
Tell me where you're from, Dwayne.
I'm from Ireland.
Born and raised?
Actually, born in London, but raised in Ireland. I was born in London, and we left there when I was like 6 or 7, I think. So, been here all my life.
So tell me, what's the biggest joy of waking up in Dublin every morning?
Oh. But I actually don't live in Dublin. I live in Galway, but I'm from Dublin. So, what's the? Well, Galway. I love Galway because it's probably my favorite city in the world. It's very clean. The people are lovely, and it's a really good place to live and to raise a family.
Wow. And how far is Galway from Dublin?
From where I am in Athenry, which is Dublin side of Galway, it takes about an hour and 40 minutes to travel. So it's literally west coast to east coast, about an hour and 40. It's quite a small country.
I see. Okay, so let's start the interview talking a little bit more about your coach career. As you mentioned before that you are building now your business. So
Yeah.
walk me through a little bit more how the opportunity came along.
Well, for years, many people have said to me, why don't you go coaching? Because I've been training for 20 years and I've been helping people get into shape for no money, just out of the love of doing it right. So, a friend of mine, maybe 8 months ago, took the plunge and set up her own company and has done very well with it. So, I was actually talking to her husband, and he was like, "Man, why don't you just go do it? You're really good at this. There's money to be made. There's lots of people out there you can help." And I thought about it and just went for it. So here we are. I'm literally just after launching the page about, I think this is week 4. So
Wow.
yeah.
And so far, what has been the most enjoyable part of creating your business, but altogether?
Oh, I don't know if I'd say enjoyable. It's quite stressful. I think a lot about the content, what I want to put out there. So I suppose at times I enjoy making the content because it means a lot to me. I'm pretty strong in my message, and I want to help men get into shape, but the primary focus is health. It's not before and after pictures.
I see. Okay, so during the interview, I'm going to explore a bit more about your life and also about your journey so far, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But before we start our journey within the Magic Box, I'd like you to tell me something interesting about yourself, or maybe something that not many people know about you.
Nothing interesting about myself. Well, this year was my 20th year clean and sober, so it was a big year for me. I
Wow.
don't talk about it too much, it's like just a part of my life that was, and I've moved on a lot from it now. So it's not something I talk about too much. So that's something, I don't know if it's interesting, but it's something about me.
Oh my God, that's very interesting for sure. For you to be navigating through those 20 years sober, I'm sure it's a big achievement. Congratulations for you to be able to do that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was necessary.
For sure. Amazing. Dwayne, are ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Sure.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have my best friend. Wonderful questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song just first to relax before the first question, okay?
Sure.
Let's do it. Right, so before we start the game, during the join, if it comes up a question that you don't want to answer, don't want to talk about, always can change, okay?
Mhm.
Amazing. First question is, if you could be any age, what age would you choose and why?
Wow. I think it would probably be 19. And if I could start my sobriety journey all over again, I would do things differently. Not that anything I did was wrong, because like I've done 20 years, but I think I'd set myself up in a much better manner for the future.
I see. Tell me something, as you talk very open about it, what, when you look back through those 20 years, yeah, what has been the most, let's say, meaningful lesson that you've learned from this, period of your life? Sobriety.
You can't take anything for granted, because I have many friends that I knew that fell back into addiction, and many of them are either in prison or passed away. So, like, you're never really over something like this. It's just something that you just deal with on a daily basis. Not that it's like something that's always there, but I'm always very cognizant of the fact I never put myself in dangerous positions, and I never go to places where I don't think I should be.
Wow. And aging for you is something that bothers you, or you just see as a matter of life?
No, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I turned 40 this year. I'm probably in better shape now than I've ever been. I take care of my health. It's the whole point of my business, right? So, and aging doesn't bother me, not at all, no.
Tell me, how was for you turning 40 this year? Tell me, do you know the feeling, or did you have any, let's say, when you go, sometimes when you get those time of your age, do you do a reflection, or it was just a normal day for you?
No, it wasn't, to be fair. The day was just another day, but the lead up to me turning 40 was very similar to me when I turned 30, which I don't really think about these things, but in the lead up to it, like turning 30 was a big thing for me. I just broke up from a long-term girlfriend, and I was really kind of panicking where I was at in life. And I met my now wife around that time, and everything kind of fell into place from there. But when I turned 40 this year, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, I think, to get into really good shape. Don't really know why I felt the need to do that, but that I did that for some unknown reason. I think it was just to say, you're 40, you can still be in good shape. Strange, but
interesting you saying that, because sometimes you think that fitness is, it's all about when you're the 20s, 30s, but actually sometimes there are no rules when you feel like it's the right time. I think it's amazing.
I think as I get older, I think as anyone gets older, they should put more emphasis on fitness, because you can get away with things in your 20s and your 30s, but as you age, if you're not putting your fitness and your health first, you can go downhill much faster. And I've got friends that look a lot older than they are because they didn't really take care of themselves.
I see. Get your point. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, next question is, tell me one movie that you could watch over and over again.
The Devil's Advocate.
Tell me why.
Because it's a real lesson in life. I think it's, the world's a horrible fucking place, and that really highlights how bad it can be. I think, yeah.
Tell me a life lesson that life has taught you that you feel very grateful for it.
To always be yourself, to never wear masks, and if people don't like who you are, to not take offense to it and just move on, because not everybody's going to like you.
Saying that, what's the biggest joy of being you? What do you like the most about being Dwayne?
I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky to have a beautiful, healthy family, and that's the thing that I'm most proud of, I suppose, my family.
Oh, wow. And you always been a family person?
No, I think I always wanted kids from a young age,
Mm-hmm.
but I was with women over the years and never really felt it was the time. I was with my wife 6 months when I knew I wanted to have children with her, which is crazy and it sounds like bullshit. You hear that all the time, but that's genuine.
And how did your path cross with your wife for the first time?
In the gym. We met on
Wow.
Tinder. I don't know if you know what Tinder is, do you? You know what
Yeah.
Tinder is, right? Okay. So we met on there and then we bumped into each other in the gym randomly. She was mortified. And a friend of mine was prepping her for her first bodybuilding show.
Wow.
And yeah, we kind of went from there.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay, so your wife is watching, she's just watching this interview right now and have a moment, an opportunity to send her a message. What would you say? She's watching.
Well, she knows that she's the love of my life, and I'm very grateful for her. She changed my life, and she's definitely taught me to be a better man and a better role model for my children. That's a big, big thing because no woman has had that impact on me before.
Wow. Wow. Love that. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think those people, those loved ones, when they come into our lives, you just know it. You
You
know
just
that
know it, yeah.
you just know it, and you know that they're gonna bring the best of them, and they're gonna share the best with you as well. I think it's just something you don't choose it; it just meant to happen.
Yeah, I don't think I actually believed that before, and then this just happened, and I very much believe it now. I'm very lucky.
Wow, beautiful. Next question, let's do it. Okay, before the next question, tell me, as you know, you've been starting your business already. So tell me so far, what's the biggest joy of being a coach? What do you like the most about it?
Helping people, showing people, teaching people that it's much easier to get into shape and become healthier than they think. It's just, it's so easy just to eat shit food, not do any exercise, and being able to show people if you put the correct systems in place, whether
Yeah.
that's get up a bit earlier or just to prioritize, 3 or 4 days a week for an hour, 3 to 4 days a week. That's all you need, and you can do so much with your body. It's amazing.
And the flip side, what do you find most challenging so far about your career as a coach?
Um, Getting people to do exactly what they're told.
Why is that?
Not everybody wants to live their life in a very structured kind of way, and I try and give as much flexibility as possible. Because if you give somebody a diet that's too strict or you tell somebody to do too much work, they might stick to it for a while, but there comes a point where they'll just get sick of it and they'll stop doing it.
I see.
You have to find that balance, right?
Next question is, if you won the lottery, what will be your first big splurge?
I buy my parents a house.
Wow, that's a big one. Wow.
Yeah, they've supported me from day one. They support me when I was in a lot of trouble and I was a mess, and they helped get me into a treatment center and got me clean and sober. They support me through that. They support me, they're so amazing with my children now as well. Like my son just went off with them tonight. He's staying with them tonight because he has a day off school tomorrow. So
Really?
their support is it's phenomenal. Like, so I'd love to be able to give something back to them.
Oh, wow. And they do you have brother and sister as well or not?
I have a brother in Dublin, yeah.
I see. And as I can see you talking so beautifully about your parents, tell me something that you've learned from them that for you go like, you know what? I'm so grateful for them for this lesson.
To be kind to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's to be kind to everybody to a point. They're too nice. And I've learned that not everybody deserves kindness. Everybody deserves it once,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's thrown back in your face, then maybe you can turn away from them and leave them behind.
Wow. And what's the meaning of life for you?
It's happiness.
Uh-huh.
I know that sounds cheesy. It's just about being happy. I see people chasing money. I see people, working their asses off because they think they're going to get a better life, and all they're doing is working. Like, money in a bank doesn't mean anything. Just your happiness, but most importantly, I suppose, is your health. If you got your health, and you're happy, you don't really need much more than that.
And do you think happiness is a choice?
I don't think you can choose to be unhappy. So I don't think you can choose to be happy. I think if you work at things, if you work on yourself and you work on your life, then I don't see why you can't be happy. I mean, you're going to go through stages at times where things aren't going right and you're not happy, but I don't know if you can choose to be happy. No.
Do you feel like you're living your happiest life right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why do you think?
Because I've got my health and I've got my family, and although I could do with a bit more money, I'm very confident in my abilities and where I'm going with my business. So I don't want to be a millionaire, but if I can make a little bit more money than I have been making, that will definitely complete things for me.
I see. All right. Next question, ready?
Go.
Let's do it. Next one. Okay, next question is, talking about happiness, tell me so far, what has been the happiest day in your life so far and why?
It's always cheesy when someone's asked this because they're always going to get the same answers. And my wedding day was the happiest day in my life, apart from the days that my two children were born, So I'm sure everybody pretty much says the same thing, but it's true, right?
Tell me the day when your first child were born. Walk me through a little bit about the emotions, or, where were you, how things got to the point where, you got your first child in your arms.
It wasn't a day. It went on for ages. My wife was in labor for like 30 hours or 30 something hours. So,
wow.
Yeah, I remember it really dragged on. We were walking up Shop Street in Galway City, and a couple of days beforehand, she thought that she was going into labor, but she had like phantom pains or something like that, they're called. So this time when we were walking down the street, she was convinced that she was just getting phantom pains again, so much so that she was stopping every few minutes and leaning against the wall. It was getting that bad. So that's kind of when it started. And then we went home and she got a shower, done her nails or like put on her makeup and all this kind of stuff. And then we went to the hospital, and we were there all day, and they sent me home. I went home, I got up early, I went in and I got some food, and I'm back to the hospital. It went on forever. And I remember the moment that I was actually, can't remember, I think I was eating the time that she was giving birth. And I was, whatever I had in my hand, I was trying to say to the doctor, "Here, do you want a bite of this?" And the doctor was like sitting down at my wife, like looking at me, like going, "No." So yeah, it was a bit. Lorna likes to bring that up from time to time. But I remember then when my son had actually been born, and he was like this, like purpley grey kind of little thing, and I was just looking at him. And then one thing I noticed was he had these huge hands, and I was like, "Where the did they come from?" Because I've got like little girls' hands, And even when I noticed that, the nurse said, "Geez, would you look at the size of his hands?" So I thought, okay, they are abnormally big.
That's amazing. Wow. Tell me the emotions at the time. Did you feel like it was this happiest moment in your life?
Honestly, there wasn't these overwhelming feelings of joy. I just remember, looking at him and holding him and just being like, wow, all right, we made him. Like, there was no like overwhelming, that's just being honest. I mean, I love my children more than anything, but it was quite overwhelming, I think. And the feelings were just like, I think I was a bit in shock, to be honest.
I get your point. I think when you just it's like a miracle happening,
Yeah,
that you
that's
cannot.
what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure you feel like, my God, I've never been to this situation before, knowing that something that, it's from me, it's kind of a just between two people, and suddenly this miracle happens. I get you.
It really just like, wow. because it's different for the mother. You know, the mother has a relationship. He was moving around, and you know yourself, and then he's just there, and I'm like, oh shit.
It just happened.
Yeah, he's just this little baby's just here, and I'm like, okay, it's just got real.
Oh, 3 questions left. Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me how fitness came into your life.
That's pretty easy. When I was in treatment, they told me to choose 2 things when I go back out into the real world that I can do as a hobby. I need to obviously change my ways and the things that I used to do. And the 2 things were I started watching football. I never really liked football, but I said I'd give it a go. I think there was a World Cup or something on at the time, so I was just like, "Fuck it, I'll just start watching football." And then obviously the gym was. I was like, right, I'll try and get fit. I'll try and get into shape because I was a very skinny little kid then. So
Wow.
yeah, that's how it came in.
Oh, wow. And for your working fitness, of course, you need to watch your diet, you need to watch, your appearance. It's all about, the physical thing. There is something that for you feel very hard not to eat it. That is like, for you, it's like a guilt pleasure that you need to control it, or you kind of handle very well.
Chocolate.
That
I
was
fucking love chocolate. Like it's my thing. I've got a very sweet tooth. Especially, I think you'll find with a lot of people that stop drinking, they get a very sweet tooth, and I certainly have one of them.
Me too. Trust me. It's something that I watch myself every single day. It's funny how you get that, isn't it? Like you cannot avoid it.
No,
And
it's just
sometimes it's not just about, I'm gonna try a little bit. You cannot do that. You need to get the whole bunch. It's not just that.
it's a whole pack of biscuits or none. Thank you very much.
Get it. Okay, next question is, what's the biggest difference between you and your best friends?
Jesus. I actually don't even know how to answer that. I think my friends, I have very few friends now that I would classify as real friends, and I think that we're very similar in ways. I wouldn't say that we're very different. Although most of my closest friends are women, so and they're a little bit crazy. I love them, but they're just a little bit nuts. As my wife likes to tell me all the time, all of your girlfriends are crazy. In a nice way, though.
Oh, wow. And what's the biggest similarity between you and your friends, in your female friends?
Well, most of us don't drink, and most of us love fitness.
I see.
Yeah.
And do you, being fitness, do you train like every day? Do you have like a schedule for you, like more in the morning, in the evening? How does it work for you?
No, I train Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, almost every week without fail. It just suits our routine here. You know, I go straight after work. Obviously, I'm going doing my own thing now, but usually it'd be straight after work, and I come home. I help get the kids ready for bed, and Lorna goes and trains then. So,
wow, amazing. 2 questions left. Let's do it.
Cool.
Before the next one, if I would come to Galway for the very first time, tell me a place, or what's the postcard of the city? What's something that stands out compared with other places in Ireland?
In Galway, there's the cathedral that people like to go to. I think most people come to Galway for the pubs. And like I'm the last person you want to talk to about pubs, but they've got a really famous pub in Salt Hill, which is like the beach. It's the beach side of Galway, and I cannot remember the name of it honestly. But if you go there, I can assure you, someone will point you in the direction of the most popular pub.
Wow. Tell me something. As you mentioned that you were born in London. Your parents, they are English or they are Irish?
No, both Irish. They left England, or they left Ireland, in their 20s. And like many people, met over there, married, and then mum returned here when they divorced.
I see. So you never spent time, like after that, you never spent more time in London?
A little bit of time. I actually fucking hate London, I'm not gonna lie. My uncle and my cousin, they've got pubs over there. My uncle's been a publican in London for 60 years. It was quite successful. And now my cousin's doing pretty well over there as well. And so
Uh-huh.
I've gone over there and I've done work for them in places like Watford, Finchley, East Finchley, Central Finchley, all over the place, really. Like,
Okay, I see. Okay. Next question is, okay, you are married, but I'm sure you can still answer this question. In your opinion, what's the worst thing someone can say on a first date?
I don't know if the worst thing, I suppose, if they're talking about their ex all the time, you're not really going to want to listen. I mean, I would actually kind of find that quite funny, but you know, that's probably, I don't know, that's a random question. I wouldn't really don't know.
Tell me tell me about your first kiss and your first love.
Ooh, my first kiss, Jesus. I don't even really remember that. My first love was a girl that I went to school with, and
Uh-huh.
she was a few years older than me. I know when
Uh-huh.
she was doing her last exams, they're called the Leaving Cert over here. I was doing the junior searches. She was a few years older than me, and I really like idolized that girl for a couple of years.
I see. All right. Last question. Ready?
Cool.
Do it. Last question. Okay, before the last question, I'm going to ask a question two parts. The first part of the question is, people watching this interview right now, maybe they would like to start a journey, have you as a coach, or they would like to train with you. What's something that would you like to provide, something that stands out about the work that you provide?
There's a couple of things. The first thing, as I said before, is I want to prioritize health more than getting into shape. I mean, you can prioritize health and get yourself into phenomenal shape, and that's what I want to lean into.
Mhm.
And what I want to do is I want to teach men the right foods to eat because I'm only working with men. Like I could teach women too, but I'm working with men. So I want to teach men the right foods to eat, and
Okay.
then how to understand calories and track macros, things like that. So teaching them a skill that they can move forward with for life. If you understand the foods that you're eating, you understand their values, their calorific values, it will really change the way you view food, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do.
If they would like to eat chocolate, would you let them?
Yeah, if that's a deal breaker, then you can make anything fit. You have to sacrifice a little bit of more wholesome food, but if
Mhm.
that means that it's going to help them stick to the diet, and the only diet that is worth it is one that you can stick to, right?
Wow. And the second part of the question is, since you start your journey, tell me a situation or a moment that you're never gonna forget, that for some reason, you're gonna keep close to your heart.
In terms of the business.
Yes.
Oh, just dealing with one of my clients who's very, very full on and is like constantly with the questions
Uh-huh.
and like never lets up. It's intense. But that's just the type of person he is. But it's that's definitely been a massive learning curve for me.
Wow. Amazing. Okay. Last question is, what is your favorite place in the entire world and why?
It's Galway, as cheesy as it sounds. Galway's home. Galway. When I left Dublin, I was a mess. When I came to Galway and I got my life together,
Mm-hmm.
it progressively got better, one day at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 year at a time. So much so to the point where I'm at now, where I've got a beautiful family, and I honestly wouldn't change anything in my life. The only thing that I would possibly change is what I'm trying to do now by making more money, starting up my own business. That's the only thing I change, and that's what I'm actively working on, right?
Of course. Great. Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to say some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Let's start with money.
Doesn't bring happiness. Is that one word you want? Is it?
Yeah,
Sorry.
one.
Um, Fake.
Okay. Fear.
Death.
Family.
Love.
Life.
Difficult.
Sex.
Fun.
Love.
Powerful.
Religion.
Not important. Unimportant.
Friendship.
Valuable.
Politics.
Unnecessary.
Desire.
Powerful.
Regret.
Pain.
It can hurt.
Mhm. Right?
Success.
Unimportant.
Wish.
Wish.
Yeah.
Help.
Happiness.
Life.
One word for Galway.
Home.
One word for Ireland.
Home. That's pretty straight.
Okay. One word for fitness.
Life.
One word for coach.
Important.
And the last one now, as this, this year it turned 20 years since you've been sober. If you could define those 20 years in one word, what it would be?
Gratitude.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let's pretend now I'm going to go all the way to Galway to meet your wife for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her, define Dwayne in one positive and one negative word only. What she would say about you?
Think she'd say loving and annoying.
Straightforward. Let's play now Dwayne in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Before you ask me the question, two questions before. The first question is, if you could go back in time, when you start your sober journey, if you could erase, you had the superpower of erasing that period of challenge for you before you start your journey, would you keep it or would you take it out of your life?
No, it's made me who I am.
Amazing. Wow. And the second part of the question is, if someone is struggling, with addiction, with something that maybe they don't feel or don't find a way out, what would be your best piece of advice for those people?
Ask for help. There's so much help out there nowadays. You don't know who to ask. Type into Google, Samaritans. Type in AA meetings. It's not easy, but if you're serious, if you really want to get your shit together, you want to get clean and sober, you'll find a way. But you have to reach out. You really do.
You're never alone. There's always someone out there that you can reach out for.
Yeah, there is. It's not easy. It's absolutely not easy. But if you want it, you'll get it.
For sure. Okay, Dwayne. Okay, I'm saying right, Dwayne.
Yeah,
Dwayne.
that's right.
Okay, Dwayne. You can ask me a question now.
Okay, so obviously we all go through life, and I think a lot of us go through life with a set of beliefs. And I think as we get older, our beliefs kind of change and they shift. And I'm just curious for you, because I don't know anything about you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you have gone through your life believing, most of your life believing, that you look back on now and you think about it differently, or you've completely changed your mindset on it?
My God, what a great question. Wow, a great question. You know what, Dwayne, I left Brazil when I was 19-year-old, back in Brazil. I came all the way to Europe. I lived in Portugal for a few years, 5 years before moving to England.
Mm-hmm.
And, I believe that, I remember growing up, I'm going to be based, in this topic that we talk a lot about addiction, about, things that you can get involved to. And I think growing up back in Brazil, I always, I think, this cigarettes, that the pack of cigarettes, that it shows some pictures of people who smoke this kind of thing. And when I arrived in Europe, back in Brazil, growing up in the 80s, this one for me was something that, I always been seeing that very early age. And when I arrived in Portugal, I remember that, I remember the very first time. It's so funny, interesting, this story, because back in Brazil, this thing about smoking, drinking, it was something that was impossible for me, like to get, at least to try, because it was something very prohibited. We grow up in this
Okay.
mentality. So I remember the first time when I arrived in Portugal, I was 19-year-old, and I remember I was with this lovely lady who I was living with. We went to a street, and suddenly there was this 12-year-old or 13-year-old smoking in the street. I was like, oh my God, look at that. She jumped. She was like, oh my God, really, what happened? I said, oh my God, look at that child smoking. I never, William, I almost had a heart attack now. I thought it was something like, I said, my God, I never seen that before. And she was like, oh my God, thank God that was something, because I got so, like, I never seen my life, like like a teenager smoking. So it was so interesting. She said, William, it's a very European culture, because,
Yeah.
we smoke a lot here. So I kind of, so back to your question, is there something about my life? For example, the first time I had a drink in my life, I was 24-year-old. Can you imagine
Wow.
how bad?
I was sober for 4 years at that stage. That's hilarious.
But yeah, the first time when I had like a drink, I remember it was my 24-year birthday. I was in London, and I remember this friend of mine bringing this shot of Sambuca, and I was like, "What's that?" He was like, "Have a sip." I know. When I think about it, I feel like, oh my God, I can smell it when I talk
Yeah,
about
sick.
it. It was horrible. Anyway, so back to your question is, growing up, I always had this thing about not, my parents always been very free with me. They never said, oh, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. However, back to my culture growing up in the 80s, back in Brazil, in a small town, it was something that, wasn't normal for me, like for us to have it. And when I started growing up and I never smoked before, but drinking is something that I tried, you know what I mean? Something that I can drink sociable. So back to your question, I would say it's something that's changed my concept, because it's something that for me was prohibited. However, some people, they can drink and they can still live,
Sure, of course.
however, some people, they can be trapped and have a different story.
Mhm.
So I think that's something that's changed my concept about that, about
Okay.
addiction, about that, because I realized that sometimes, people, they can drink and still, as I mentioned before, have a normal life, and also some people, they can't. And I understand that, understand that can be very addictive. It can bring you to a place where you feel very sociable, you can talk a lot of things. However, it's not just about that. So I think back to your question, something that life has taught me that, or showed me that before I had this point of view that, people who drinks, they don't, or, they're not good people, or maybe if they get involved in other things as well. But again, I was very young, and and actually my parents never said that to me. Just something that's somehow,
Sure.
they had TV or programs for children. They were kind of showing that. But become an adult, 19-year-old in Europe, alone, you see things that, is not about that. It's a different reality. And somehow life, teaches you a different way of seeing things, and being grateful and understanding as well about that. It's not just about judging, it's about seeing that people, they are still the same person. However, if they have an addiction or if they do something, it doesn't matter they are a bad person. It just means they are going through something challenging in their lives. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And that's I learned through life. So that's something that's changed my concepts. And I think that's, I'm grateful for that as well, to have this, different approach, and also to understand that now as an adult. And I think it's amazing. I'm so grateful for that, because maybe if I have the opportunity to move all the way across the world to another country on my own, I wouldn't see this less. I wouldn't see that things
Sure.
life. So I'm very grateful. Yeah, great question. That's
Cool.
amazing. Did you enjoy the interview?
Yeah, I did. It's my first one, so I was a bit nervous, but yeah, I did enjoy it. It was pretty cool.
Thanks again, Dwayne. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for being so kind and open. I love to when passionate people here come to the show. They're starting, a business, a journey, or they're expressing themselves the best way for sure. And I wish you the best. Just hope that you embrace more and more this new career in your life. And I hope people, they're gonna connect with you, and they're gonna, have you as their mentor to somehow help them have a healthier life for sure.
I hope so too.
For sure. Before we go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Yeah, I would say always be kind to everybody until they're unkind to you.
Totally. And so easy to spread kindness. It doesn't take much of us.
My grandmother used to say it's nice to be nice, and that really sat with me. Like it's just nice to be nice, right? Unless somebody's not being nice, then I can be a real dickhead.
It can change the things.
I
Yeah, right.
can, absolutely.
Amazing. Regards to your wife, to your kids and friends and family, and you keep in touch. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Okay, have a good night.
I appreciate it. Thanks, William.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.